Have you ever heard the saying that rich people keep getting richer while poor people struggle more and more? This isn't merely a saying, unfortunately, it reflects the truth. Despite the fact that countless individuals have managed to escape poverty and even achieve millionaire status, the majority will never attain such success. In 2022, the combined net worth of America's 735 billionaires exceeded $4.48 trillion. The focal point of this video is a question: how can one escape poverty? If you were born into a financially disadvantaged family, which is not your fault, what steps can you take? What is the precise path to building wealth and achieving financial freedom? In this video, we will talk about 5 simple steps to get out of poverty. Before we begin, kindly give the video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel so you won't miss out on more awesome content like this. Let's get started. Number 1. Realize that you have to help yourself, as no one else will. It's really helpful when there's someone around to give you a hand. Whether it's the government or your parents, having support can make a significant difference. However, the harsh reality is that, in the end, nobody truly looks out for your best interests as much as you do. Certainly, your parents wish for you to enjoy a better life, but their capacity to provide you with opportunities may be limited, especially if they themselves grew up in a financially disadvantaged family. If they possessed the knowledge to improve their financial situation, they would have likely done so long ago. When you engage with individuals facing financial difficulties, you'll often find them pointing fingers, often placing blame on external entities, such as the government, which is expected to provide assistance. This isn't to say that the government should not offer support, but if you rely solely on external forces, you may find yourself waiting indefinitely. It's super important to firmly tell yourself that you're the best person to help yourself. This realization serves as the initial and fundamental step toward creating meaningful change in your life. Number 2. Don't settle for a low-paying job. I am not against getting a job. Actually, taking on a low-paying job as a teenager can present an ideal opportunity for self-education in the fundamentals of business and finance, as well as cultivating responsibility with money. Nonetheless, many people find themselves ensnared in the cycle of low-wage employment without an exit strategy. Growing up in poverty instills a mindset where every penny carries significance, and each dollar can make a substantial impact, creating a culture of minimalistic needs and desires. Your wants can typically be satisfied with just a few $1,000s, such as having a decent place to live, access to good food, and common gadgets owned by your peers. Thus, when you secure your first job as a teenager, it grants you the means to meet these fundamental needs. However, in return, you may have to sacrifice a significant portion of your time. So, you end up working in a job all day that doesn't teach you how to make more money in the long run. Nonetheless, it helps cover your basic needs, which keeps you stuck in the job. A low-paying job offers immediate gratification, enabling you to swiftly accumulate funds for leasing a car, obtaining the latest iPhone, and enjoying social outings. Nevertheless, it fails to provide the luxury of free time to invest in self-improvement, which would ultimately render your time far more valuable in the long run. So, it's really important to understand how to wait for things you want. One effective method is by committing to regular visits to the gym. Irrespective of your initial efforts, genuine progress doesn't manifest after just 1 or 2 gym sessions or even a month. Substantial advancements are realized after several months of consistent gym attendance, preferably at least 3 to 4 times weekly. If you seek a noteworthy transformation, it may even take several years. This experience teaches you the value of diligent effort for rewards that may materialize in the distant future. Number 3. Have a clear plan. If you don't have a clear plan to become financially independent, you might stay stuck in poverty for a long time. The timeline for reaching this goal is less important than having a concrete plan in place. Without a plan, it's hard to save and invest money with discipline. To illustrate this point, consider a hypothetical scenario. Let's say your annual expenses amount to $50,000. If you lack a clear roadmap for generating a passive income of $50,000, your efforts may prove fruitless. So, how do you go about crafting such a plan? The key is to acquire income-generating assets, which can range from real estate and stocks to bonds or businesses capable of operating with minimal oversight. For instance, a $200,000 house could be rented out for $2,000 a month, yielding an annual income of $24,000. To achieve financial freedom, you might need to acquire at least 2 properties that collectively generate a rental income of $48,000, though this is just one avenue. Numerous alternatives exist. For instance, you could take out a mortgage, have your tenants cover the mortgage payments, and enjoy a modest cash flow from each property. Alternatively, you could explore the stock market, where you can anticipate an average long-term return of around 10%. The crucial factor is not the specific plan, but the presence of a well-structured one with a realistic chance of success. The proportion of your income that you allocate towards saving and investment, whether it's 10% or 90%, ultimately depends on your circumstances. However, the common objection is often, my income barely covers my expenses. How can I possibly save and invest to that extent? This is precisely why you need to consider step number 4. Number 4. Focus on educating yourself. When you're earning $50,000 per year, it may seem utterly unattainable to envision yourself making $200,000, $500,000, or even $1 million. This difficulty arises from the natural tendency to compare these substantial sums to your current job. For instance, if you earn $20 per hour, the notion of making 7 figures would require a staggering hourly rate of at least $250, assuming you work 12 hours every single day. In reality, it's unlikely for any job to pay that much. However, this doesn't imply that there aren't avenues to earn such substantial amounts. There are individuals who earn far more, but the challenge lies in discovering how to do so. That's why self-education is essential. Unfortunately, if you devote all your time to a low-paying job, you'll find it challenging to embark on this learning journey. So, what's the solution? You can either carve out extra time after your job or, as I did in the past, cut down on your expenses, foregoing certain luxuries in order to work fewer hours to cover your bills. This strategy may create a surplus of time for self-improvement. If you're just beginning, start by reading books and exploring your strengths. Familiarize yourself with the latest technologies, and consider starting a venture in a field that aligns with your interests and expertise. Remember, success won't materialize overnight, you're in it for the long haul. And number 5. Set up a boring but effective routine. Once you've formulated a sensible plan, it's time to establish a structured routine. Forget about having exciting adventures every day, because being productive usually comes from sticking to a regular routine. The fancy lives you see on Instagram are mostly fake. Trust me, those who genuinely amass wealth rarely live such extravagant lifestyles. Actually, someone who gets really rich usually lives a pretty boring life, but it works really well. Yes, it may be dull, but it yields results. You wake up daily at the same hour, engage in the same activities repetitively over an extended duration, which could span years, ultimately leading to meaningful progress. So, don't let scrolling through your Instagram feed make you feel disheartened. We don't get to choose our circumstances of birth, with some being lucky to be born into wealth, while others are not as fortunate. However, as a wise person once said, it's not how you start that's important, but how you finish. If you are born into poverty, it's not your fault, but if you remain impoverished for the duration of your life, it becomes a matter of choice. Naturally, the challenges vary from country to country. Being born in poverty in a first-world nation like the United States differs from being born in a region like the Sahara, where the infrastructure to build wealth is rare. However, with the advent of the internet, this paradigm has shifted, allowing individuals from diverse locations to educate themselves and even establish entire online businesses. That concludes today's video. I hope it was informative and beneficial to you. If you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. I welcome your feedback, so feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Lastly, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss any future videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.